if the Lions can turn the number 2 pick this year into like the number 7 or 8 pick next year, that would be steady progress, and
Mhm.
it would show that this rebirth and that Campbell is working. So
Yeah. And I mean, we always compare it to the 49ers. I feel like that's the rebuild that always, oh, if the 49ers can do it, the Lions can do it. And we have to remember it took them 3 years to get to the playoffs before they were even talking about, a potential firing of Kyle Shanahan before he made the playoffs the first time. And I mean, this is how that goes. You get a couple early picks. I think next year we'll probably have, a top 10 pick again, and then we have a second first rounder. And then that third year is when you really take that next step. You go hard in free agency, you sign a guy you really need on your team. And then, you go on and get your draft picks as well and your rookies in there that can contribute to what you need now. And then you win. And I feel like that is, where we're working toward there. And another thing is it makes me feel a lot better about this front office because it shows to me they're not trying to push it. They're going to take their time and build it the right way and not try to save their jobs in a way that a lot of other people do by, spending a lot of money or trading for somebody that they don't necessarily have to trade for right now. So I think that's a really good sign for this front office.
mm-hmm. No, I agree. I also really like the comparison to the San Francisco 49ers rebirth. I think that there might be a lot of parallels there.
Mm-hmm.
I would uh, like to affirm, well, not really affirm, but I would like to caution that the 49ers rebuild is definitely not over yet. A lot of that
Bingo.
needs to do with Trey Lance and
Mm-hmm.
this Jimmy Garoppolo thing. But if Trey Lance becomes the quarterback that everyone expected him to be when they drafted him third, then yeah, that's a great reboot. But
Right.
Kyle Shanahan's job is not safe by any means, in my opinion.
I think it's safe to an extent. It would basically have to blow up, I think, for him to lose his job. Like I personally think they would have to go out and be like 4-12, for him to
So
get fired.
I don't think he is going to get fired this year. But I think that if Jimmy Garoppolo gets caught or gets traded for something less than what they eventually wanted to get, like initially wanted to get traded for,
Right.
and then Trey Lance is not the quarterback, like he's a total bust, then I think Shannon's probably out. But
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know if I blame Shanahan for that though. That's my problem with that situation because you're probably right. From a realistic standpoint, that they probably will blame Shanahan for that and fire him. But he's a guy that consistently has won. He made it to the Super Bowl. He wins in the playoffs, and with what you could say is a lackluster quarterback, and an offense that I believe Kyle Shanahan needs a good quarterback, above average, good to great quarterback to win that Super Bowl. And I'm not going to say it's Jimmy G's fault that they didn't win that Super Bowl, but thinking back on it, there was a couple throws there at the end that he should have made. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that I can't really blame Kyle Shanahan. He had the guy open, his quarterback just didn't hit him. Which is another thing I really don't like about front offices. They don't take the fall themselves. There's always a fall guy that gets fired. And unfortunately, I think you're right that if the Niners can't get it together, it will probably be Kyle Shanahan, which sucks because I really do think he's a great coach, in my opinion. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. Not top 5 necessarily, but I think he's top 10, top 15.
I think he needs to win
Personally.
a close game to be considered one of the top coaches in the league.
What do you mean?
Well, every big game they've been ever in, Kyle Shanahan has always fumbled the bag. Think about
I
Atlanta Super Bowl.
disagree.
Atlanta,
Yeah, but he's
he
the
fumbled the
OC.
bag
I don't know if that's his
during
fault.
comeback.
Yeah.
Then last year, they had the Rams basically beat, fumbled the bag again. Well, this year, technically, because it's new season. So, I don't know. Every big game that Kyle Shanahan has been in, he always ends up losing.
What about all the playoff games that they didn't lose?
this year.
All of them ever. I mean, he won. He went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They were in the playoffs last year and this year, and they
Yeah,
won.
but like even the Chiefs game, like I don't actually remember that game, but I feel like they were up at like points and
They
like
were, yeah,
uh, I don't know. I would give them credit for being the Packers twice. The Packers are like a really good team, so
right.
for them to gain Aaron Rodgers' head and everything is awesome. But again, I don't know.
I
It
think,
just seems to me that the narrative is that he can't win the big game.
yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with the narrative that is the narrative, but I disagree with the narrative.
Yeah,
Because I feel like personally, I'm not like the Niners, I feel like almost overachieve every year. Like people don't
yeah.
look at them and go, that's a Super Bowl team. They go, 8-8, well, 8-9, 9-8 now. Whereas the last few years they've been 11-5, 12-4, 10-6, or 9-7, whatever it is, making the playoffs consistently. I feel like if anything, he's been overachieving with what he has because up until this last season, they never had a true wide receiver one in San Francisco. I guess you could say George Kittle, but I mean, he's a tight end. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. They never had a legit elite running back. He's always making these random guys that, aren't big name people, fourth, fifth round picks, free undrafted free agents. He makes them into great running backs. And then, his defense, like, I mean, what shutdown corner has been on the Niners in the past 5 years? I mean, you could say Richard Sherman, but he wasn't shut down when he played there. You know what I mean? I mean, the best player on their defense is Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. Outside of that, I mean, name another star. I mean, I guess DeForest Buckner could be, um, but at
Eric
that point,
Armstead.
or I'm sorry, Eric Armstead, not DeForest Buckner. He's on the Colts.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Eric
the first
Armstead.
Buckner too.
Yeah, Eric Armstead for sure. That's who I meant to say. Because they don't have DeForest Buckner anymore, of course. So, but Eric Armstead, yes, is another very good player. But when we talk about these Super Bowl teams and these contending teams, these are teams that have talent everywhere. Even the Packers, they beat the Packers twice now, back to back years. And it on paper, the Packers are levels above them. I mean, let's be honest. The Packers had the best wide receiver in the NFL, probably the top three quarterback in the NFL, one of the best running backs in the NFL, one of the best O lines in the NFL. They got one of the best corners in the NFL, good safeties. They got, good D linemen. Everything they got is solid. And I feel like for the Niners to go out and beat them back-to-back playoff years is that's super overachieving, I think. And I think that kind of secures Shanahan's job, in my opinion.
I agree. I ultimately think that like it needs to do with the quarterback. So hopefully Jillian's performs well. I can't sit here and say that Cincinnati is this all-star level team. Like
Right.
I think that Cincinnati has some good pieces, but like I think Joe Burrow and Jamal Chase
Right.
really kind of propelled them into the Super Bowl this year. So
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that point too. And I think there's always that chance. And that's why we love football. It's any given Sunday. I feel like at any point, any team can, matchups and the right day can win a game. And we kind of saw that with the Bengals, which I don't know. It's one of those things that are we just underestimating the players that they have? Is it because they're not media guys? Like, is that what's going on? Because I mean, there's not a lot of elite talent necessarily on that defense, but they made it to the Super Bowl. And we know their offensive line isn't very good. So a lot of missing talent there, but they made it. So something gave in that situation. But next we have